Hey there guys, my name is Emerald and today we're going to be watching a speed build I did of a 28,000 simoleon starter home, which I built in Oasis Springs because I just find it easier to play in starter homes whenever I can put more things outside, and with Oasis Springs and if you have seasons installed it's nice that you don't get rained on all the time. So I decided to go with that. But I'm actually going to be playing in this house, hopefully in a speed build I would like to post, or I'm actually going to be playing in this house, hopefully in a let's play I would like to start next week on my channel. It'll be my first let's play, so, you know, go easy on me, my heart can't take it. But anyway, a 28,000 simoleon starter. And if you're an avid simmer, you may be thinking, well Emerald, I thought a starter home and budget in The Sims was less than 28,000 simoleons. And to that I'd say, you're correct, and you deserve a gold star. But I actually chose that budget because I wanted to create a household that roughly consists of like a family of 4 for the let's play. So 2 parents, a teen, and an infant. Yeah, but I couldn't actually find a budget for the infant, so I just went with the toddler budget because I couldn't be arsed going any further than the first page I clicked on. So, but anyway, altogether that's about 28,000 simoleons. Now I should probably actually talk about the build here because it may not seem like it, but it is in fact a speed build video, and I should probably get to talking about the speed build. But yeah, it actually took me way longer than normal to figure out what I wanted to do with the roofs and the outsides, and I cut out a lot of it because it was just me messing about and placing things and deleting things and placing things and deleting things, you know, the process. But yeah, I decided to go for this kind of modern look, but on a budget, so I went with the glass roofs, which I thought were really pretty, and I did like a custom sort of little roof on the patio. And in here I have about 3 bedrooms, a living room, ensuite bathroom, a standard bathroom, and then a kitchen dining space, kind of whenever you walk in the front door here. And talking about the front door, I started out with the growing together door. That was, I love this door. I'm literally using this door constantly. I love that light blue swatch. But as I kind of went into choosing the back door, I decided I wanted something a little bit more modern, so I went with this more modern door from the Growing Together pack, and I chose this dark blue swatch because it's really nice, and I don't usually go for a dark blue and grey colour scheme, so I thought it'd be nice, and I probably used some items that I didn't even know had certain swatches, like this base game sliding door. I did not know it had a grey and blue swatch, so I took advantage of that, even though it was probably a little bit more expensive, but it's fine. She's pretty. We'll live. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do for the roof here. I know I wanted something kind of clean and tidy and sleek, but I couldn't figure out what that was. I think I eventually end up going with like a grey square sort of. Yep, exactly that. And I thought I would just add a white sort of like trim around the roofs, make it look a little, you know, a little bit tidier. And I actually went in with these grey windows. I never use grey windows, but I thought, why not start now? So what I'm actually doing to the left here is I'm creating like a little swatch of all the windows I feel match perfectly. Because I like my windows to match perfectly. I mean, it's okay if they don't, but like, it's something that really annoys me. So what I'm actually doing here is I'm taking windows from my little window collection at the front here, and I'm kind of making like custom windows by placing them together, just so I have something different to look at, because I have built so many houses in this game that I am bored just looking at the standard windows. So I decided to go with this and kind of a mishmash of different windows, and you know what, it works. So here we go. I'm just adding windows to the back now, and I wanted to add a nice big sort of window in the living room here, so I added the same sort of custom window I made in the front in what's going to be the teens room. You know, I thought that looked really nice, and I imagine me putting like a TV sort of in front of it. If we can afford the TV, that is, which eventually we do. Spoilers, but I squeeze in a TV. And since it is a starter home and I need that TV in the budget, I went with like basic, cheapest flooring, which she's cheap, but you know, she's nice, she'll do. And I actually went in here and I chose the Growing Together swatch for the foundation in the blue, which I have never used, and I have no idea why, because she's gorgeous. We love her. And I think I'm probably going to use her for the next, I don't know, till I get bored of her and I use every single swatch several times. But yeah, now I'm just going in here, and I imagine this house, since it's in Oasis Springs, that it would be made of wood. Now, where I live, it's actually very cold, and all the houses are made of brick and kind of small, so we don't have the luxury of these nice sort of big wooden houses. So I have no idea what it's like to live in this weather, but you know, I can dream. I can build a nice wooden house in The Sims and live my little wooden house dreams. So I'm just going in here, and I'm trying to get this roof trim on this like back roof so it doesn't look weird. And yep, eventually we got there. We got there in the end. And going inside now to the kitchen, and I love this fridge. I think it actually came with Cottage Living, I'm not sure, but it's a couple of really pretty swatches, and I wanted to go for kind of like a sleek, we look like we have money, but we don't actually have money kind of modern house, you know? But that's why I eventually end up getting rid of that stove, because I think it just looks a little bit dirty and off-white and not sleek. So eventually I'm like, you know what? There's enough wiggle room in our little starter home budget for a slightly nicer stove, because honestly it was annoying me. So we went in with that slightly nicer stove. And whenever I was building this house, I actually discovered that the eco lifestyle furniture, like the furniture that you can build through like furniture fabrication, if you do the bb.show hidden objects cheat, you get access to all of that in build mode, and it is so cheap. So cheap. So I had to take advantage of that, because I don't think I've ever used this table, but I think I end up using quite a lot of things from Eco Lifestyle in here. And this is just your bog standard basic bathroom, but I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting, like it looked like I had a built-in sink cabinet, so I used that little edge cabinet from Snowy Escape, which I'm kind of guilty of using all the time in my bathrooms, especially if I want to make them look a little bit more interesting on a budget. But anyway, I'm going into the bedrooms now here, and I'm trying to think of color schemes, but if I'm honest, I mix up the color scheme a lot throughout this, because I realized that the wood tones in all the bedrooms end up looking very samey, and I just don't like that. I imagine like each of the bedrooms would have like a little bit more personality and slightly different wood tones and slightly different furniture sets. So I actually go back in there and I change it up a little bit. But oh yes, this bed is also one of the beds you can craft from the Eco Lifestyle pack, and I don't think I've ever used that swatch, or nope, but I thought it was gorgeous. It's cheap and cheerful. We're gonna use it. First time for everything. So I went in here, and I ended up using the new sort of like tiny dresser from the Get Together pack, because she's cute, you know, she's cute, she's cheap, she's small. Perfect. So, stuck her in there. But next, I, just messing about with this a little bit, because I want it to look perfect. But I'm just slowly doing the bedrooms together. I don't usually do this and going back and forth between each bedroom, but because we're on a budget, I kind of want to make sure they're all kind of evenly furnished. And I don't like spend loads of money on one and then can't afford to furnish the other, which can easily happen sometimes if you're not paying attention, or you're just me. So I went in here and I couldn't really find a combination for these two in the teens room that I actually liked. So I think I go into this sort of darker brown swatch eventually in this little dresser. Just to mix it up a little bit, because it was the same sort of wood tones as the parents' bedroom, and I didn't want to just go all white. Oh, there we go. We're going for the darker swatches, and oh, this bed's from high school years, and I absolutely love that green color. It's like my favorite color in real life. But yeah, I go back to the infant's room and just kind of looking at all the swatches, and yeah, okay. We're going back in here. Oh, and I'm using the rug from the Pastel Pop kit. I absolutely love the texture on this rug. It just looks like a really nice, soft, fluffy rug for your Sims to walk on. And I feel like it adds a lot to a room that doesn't necessarily have a lot in it in the first place, you know, giving it that illusion of, oh, this is a luxury room. Just ignore the fact that we have hardly any furniture and no paintings. It's okay. But anyway, I just go in here, and I usually use that wallpaper that I've used in the master bedroom in kids' rooms, but I don't think I've ever used that swatch, and I thought it fit really nice with the color scheme I wanted to go with, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to use it in the master bedroom. Something different to look at, quite nice. And yeah, in here now we're going into the living room, and I used more of that craftable furniture from Eco Lifestyle, just because I thought it was so pretty. It's cheap, it's cheerful. You know, we could get a decent-ish living room going if I use this furniture. So I actually went in and added a little TV stand, but I couldn't decide if I wanted it centered, so I just moved the windows to make the windows centered with the room. And added this base game coffee table, which I was surprised actually matched the swatches of the Eco Lifestyle chairs and sofa. So I thought that was quite nice, and I added in a little grey there on the TV stand to tie it in more with the chairs from the Eco Lifestyle pack. So I start wallpapering the place, you know, choosing the tiles in the bathroom. Basically, both bathrooms have like a black and white sort of colour scheme because I just wanted to keep it simple. I couldn't really afford to do anything too fancy, and oh yeah, I'm using this little shelf. This also comes with the Eco Lifestyle, surprise surprise, and I think it's only 70 simoleons, which is a pretty good price whenever some of the cheapest windows cost like 30 simoleons, so I've got to use that shelf. It takes up a lot of space as well, which I'm quite happy about because the room's looking a little empty at this point. And actually here I'm just figuring out what sort of lamps to use, because I don't know why, but I just deem lamps as like one of the essential furniture items in a room. And I added a really cute nightlight in the infant's room. I think it's from Parenthood, which is really good game pack. And I like the little moonlight light. I think it's so cute. Now I just go to add in a little radio and a little bookshelf item eventually onto that shelf from Eco Lifestyle, just to give your Sims more things to do, and both of those items are quite cheap, so it's a win-win. And I really wanted to use this little tummy time mat from the Growing Together pack, and I think it kind of fits with the color scheme in here. Some of the swatches on it are really colourful, and I'm not used to matching that many colours at once, so fingers crossed it matches. I like it anyway. I hope you do too. And I'm just going back in here to the main sort of kitchen area because I wanted to add more items so it didn't feel as empty, but we're getting down to just under 6,000 simoleons now, and I haven't painted the rest of the walls. I haven't added any artwork, any decorations, and I don't think I've added anything outside, so I know I need to be sparse, but I also don't want it to feel empty. So I added in a little toddler potty because that was fairly cheap, and I know we're going to have an infant at the start, but I thought, you know what, it takes up space, and I wanted to give the teen like a little skill building item, so I gave them a guitar, and I thought it was quite realistic to have a little mirror beside the dresser, and I think later on I put a little makeup sort of pot on it because, you know, I imagined it being where they would do their makeup in the morning. And just going in here, trying to match some more of the wood tones to the dark and the light sort of color scheme, so items don't look out of place. And I went with these blue tiles at the start, which I then realized was a bold choice that I was not ready to make. So I eventually go in with this little checkered beige and white tile. I really like that tile, and I feel like it just kind of starts to tie the room together a little bit more without it being too dark. And I decided to swap out the high chair for one with more of a darker wood tone, you know, just bringing all those wood tones together. And the kitchen, she had a moment here, which I decided was not ready to happen. But yes, I go in and I add a tile just to kind of separate the kitchen area a little bit more from the dining area, you know, make it feel like two sort of separate areas rather than just one big one meshed together. Sometimes I feel like that happens if I use wood in the kitchen. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but most of the times for me it doesn't. But yeah, I'm just outlining the sort of patio area here in the garden and deciding what fences I want to use. And yeah, I wanted to go for a slightly more modern look. And I start with this sort of eco lifestyle fence, but it wasn't for me, you know. It didn't fit in with the build. So I went in this little white fence instead, and I don't think I've ever really used the white swatch. And I love this little picket fence from the Werewolves pack because it is so cheap and it is so cute, and it's something I could actually imagine being in like a little back garden. And then I'm adding in an easel and a trash can, you know, the easel, so there's like an extra skill building item, and we need a lot of those in a starter, but unfortunately we are on a budget. So I add some planters in here to fill up the garden space, and then I realized the budget is just under 3,000 simoleons, so it's like we're counting down, and I still need to add a couple little decorations here and there in the house so it looks less empty and more lived in. So I stick it with the red accents in the master bedroom. Added some little arts and craft cards here. I imagine maybe the infant maid with their parents, or the teen maid when they were younger, you know, sort of like family clutter. Yeah, and now I go in with this little basket item. It actually came in a free base game update, and I love it. I've been putting it in all my builds ever since. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I put the basket there. I forgot what I actually put in that little shelf there, so I was thinking, if you didn't put a box there, Emerald, what did you put in there? Oh, and there's little makeup tub. Ugh, can't speak. That's the little makeup tub there in the teens room. Makeup tub. Right. And oh, these rugs from Nifty Knitting are really nice, and I don't know how much they actually cost, but I think it's either nothing or close to nothing, so I had to take advantage of that. And I just wanted to add one or two sort of clutter items in the bathrooms so they didn't look so empty. And I wanted to add some soap, you know, fill up these little shelves with some really cheap clutter. I always use those baskets. I think those baskets are so handy. They come in so many nice swatches. And I added a little cheap sort of carpet into the ensuite, a little carpet at the front door, and a plant. You can't go wrong with a plant. I think I just go on a plant frenzy here. Yep, second plant in a row. I think we're going to go for our third plant in a row. Yep, love those plants. And our fourth plant in a row. But those are cactus plants. I imagined that they would be growing in Oasis Springs just because of the weather. I thought it was really cute as well. I love cacti myself, and later on you get to see me cover the garden in them, so you're in for a treat. And I use these curtains. They're also from Eco Lifestyle, and they are like the cheapest curtains in the game, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 40 simoleons. And I decided not to size down the curtains in the teens room, just so it looked a little bit more elegant. It took up a little bit more space because, let's be honest, this is a starter and she does not have a lot in her bedroom. So I actually go in with a high school years rug and size it up, and again, love that green color. Cannot get enough of that green color. And now I realize that my funds are dwindling and I have no artwork on the walls, so I go in with a quick, You know, what is the cheapest artwork and where can I put it to have the most impact? So I sized up this decal in the infants room. I had a couple of like posters in the teens room. I thought that was more realistic. And the posters are cheap, so it's a win-win. And then I wanted something big to cover this whole sort of wall, or most of it, so I eventually went with this picture. I think it's from Seasons, if I'm not wrong. If I am wrong, let me know. But yes, here we are. I wanted to add in a little bench and a little, you know, lamp on it so it's not pitch black at night. Just going in here. Oh, and I added the little decoration box because I find that really handy for gameplay, especially when you can't be bothered actually decorating your house. And some sun loungers in the back there, just because I feel like that would be a realistic use of space, especially if you live somewhere this warm. And I'm just going into debug here for landscaping, because debug landscaping, 1, is free, and 2, is our best friend because it's free. So I picked a couple of trees that I thought would kind of grow in this climate. Apart from the one at the front, it's just one of my favorite trees, and I had to use it. And this bush, I don't think I've ever used this debug bush, but I thought it was kind of nice, and it looked kind of overgrown, but also looked like it could grow in more of a warmer climate. So I think I just cover my build in like maybe like 5 or 6 of these bushes, but I do size them down just because I feel like they fit a little bit better on the lot that way. It kind of just frames that sort of area where the sun loungers are a little bit more, which I thought was nice. And yes, I added one of those little bushes behind the planting area as well. So I go in with this debug sort of plant. I don't know how you would describe that plant other than it's a plant. Great job, Emerald. You're doing great, sweetie. Right, okay, so I go in with that plant, add it several times all over the garden. I think I actually end up deleting some of them because I'm like, wow, you use this plant way too much. You need to get more variety in here. I know it's debug landscaping, but you can do better. So going with this second bush, which I can't say I've ever used either. And I just wanted to fill up a little bit more space at this point, but I really was not happy with the front. So I kept digging in debug and adding a little bit more of these sort of like spiky fern plants all over the place. I think I added some in the back. Yeah, I did. I definitely added some in the back. Different sizes. I often find like sizing down or sizing up a lot of the plants just gives it more variation, and it makes it look like you're looking at plants in different stages of growth when you're just looking at a sized up or a sized down plant, which is great, you know? We like a little bit of variation, especially if it is debug landscaping and it's free. So yeah, I think eventually, oh, cactuses, I told you, promised you cactuses, cactuses, that's whatever, cacti. Promised you cacti, and I have delivered. So here I just size up a couple of cacti, and I think later on I size down a few that I end up putting in the corner of the garden. Oh, and I decided to delete the landscape in here and add sort of like a little makeshift sandpit area the infant could play in when they're a little bit older, with some debug fencing there, so it gives the illusion that that's a fenced in sand pit area with a little debug shovel and bucket. And here at the start I got this like debug planter, and I thought it looked really nice and kind of tied in with the rest of the house, so I wanted to add in a little bit of landscaping in there to make it look like there's a couple little plants growing out of it, which I thought was cute. I thought it was nice. Wanted to put it at the front of the house, and oh god, I tried to fit this cactus in so hard. Like I really wanted to use that cactus in this build, but she wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. Rip cactus. But anyway, I actually go back here and I replace that tree with a slightly smaller one, because I thought it just like got a better view of the sand pit and a better view of the garden, and it didn't kind of cause as much shade. Oh, and I got these sort of like debug tulips in a little planter. I I thought they looked nice beside that little water plant, their water tap, and I imagine that the sim who lives here might be into gardening, so. And I think I sized these ones down because I just thought, whoa, that's a lot of tulips, so I need to size that down. So I went ahead and I sized down tulips. I added like kind of a different variation of sand in here just to like build on that illusion that this is a pre-made sand pit. Like, we put down that sand, we built that fence, when in reality it's the Sims, and I put down that sand and built that fence. But yes, I kind of used the concrete as like a little like stencil for where I wanted to do my patio, just because I find it easier that way. I know a lot of people just like to draw it freehand, but I'm not very good at drawing it freehand, so. And then I just go in here and I like to add that the dirt, you know, just the shading around the house, shading around the path and the patio, and make it look a little bit more, you know, lived in, a little bit more blended out. Yep, doing a little bit under the planter boxes here, and I think I just really go to town with shading in the dirt for the rest of this build. And I think I'm going to go into the tour in a few seconds, so thanks for watching, guys. I'd love to have you subscribe to my channel, and I would love to have you for this random let's play that I am going to figure out over the next week. Okay, thank you guys, bye!